I have no idea how to use this thing. I'm trying to use a selfie stick, but I think I have it on here wrong. But it's been a while since I've been out here to take you guys on a garden tour. So I thought this would be a good time. It's going to be raining for the next few days, so let's see what we have growing. So this is what I call the kitchen garden, and just because it's so close to the back door, we're working on getting some steps over there. But so here is actually, these are green onions that I let go to seed. I think they're called, are they scallions? But I let them go to seed because we eat a lot of them. We use them in a lot of our cooking. So I wanted to have some seeds of my own here. So I let them go to seed, and I actually purchased these from the store. Like, I buy them from the store, and then once I use them, I just like cut the tops off. Let's see. They're usually a lot smaller than this at the store, but I'll cut the top off to use and then plant the base. So these are just the ones I let go to seed. And here we have some Swiss chard that I planted earlier. There's a spider web on there, but that I planted before spring, actually. And some more Swiss chard that's starting to come up. Those are weeds. And some kale that seems to be doing okay. And these are actually, oh, look at the size of that. Oh, let me get out the shadow here. I don't know if you can see, but that is a beet, the first good sized beet that I've ever grown. I tried this last fall going into the winter, and my beets didn't do well at all. And this is like a volunteer or whatever. Like, I planted, or maybe it's a seed that didn't come up when I planted them in the fall. But two of these popped up this spring. So I just left them, and they're growing. That's amazing. So I had planted the kale seed not knowing that the beets were going to come up, but they're both doing well so close together. And this is just some of the work that we've done since last year. This bed here is like a perennial herb garden. So the herbs in this, we have sage and rosemary and thyme going all around the perimeter here. And then we're getting into, what is that? Those are both oregano, 3 different kinds, 5 different kinds of oregano growing. They're going to grow sunflowers, but they'll be like the ornamental kind, not the kind that you eat, but they should be pretty. These are ground cherries. This is my first year growing them. I've tried for several years now to start my seeds, and I have not had any success. So I actually found these at Home Depot, the starts, so like the plants. So I got 4 of them, and they seem to be doing pretty well. None of them are ripe yet, but as you can see, it's quite a bit, and you can feel this actual like berries inside. And this one just fell off, so let's take a look. So they're ready to eat when the little husk goes from this green color to like a sort of like a hard, like when it dries out. There you go. And it's inside this little husk. These aren't quite ripe yet, I don't think. It's like a greenish color, but I think it's supposed to be more of a yellow, orangey color. There's this little teeny little fruit. And it's not even ripe yet, but it's still pretty sweet. Like, it's decently sweet. I'd say it's kind of like a tomato. Like a tomato meets a bit of pineapple. I even get like a little spice in it. Not any kind of like heat spice, but a little spicy, in my opinion. But I was concerned after all the work I went through to try to grow these, were they actually going to be worth it? But I think they are. I think they will be. And then this is just the mint bed. have different kinds of peppermint growing in there. And then here, they're just seedlings right now, but this is okra. 3 different okra plants that I started from seed. And then down here, this last bed here, we started some more kale. They're still very small. And then around on the back end, I have an elderberry bush. Next year I'm going to have to buy another one because you're supposed to have 2 so they can cross-pollinate. But that is our elderberry bush growing. I got that as a bare root, and I thought it was dead because it took me a couple days to get it in the ground. But then these popped up, so yay for that. Alright, so I'm going to come back up to this bed here, which are marigolds and some basil growing in there. Oh, that basil's not doing too well. I don't know what happened. I may have to pull that up and plant something else. But I planted these here because on the other side, which I'll get to, is tomatoes growing. So we'll get to that in a bit though. And then coming around this way, these are 3 echinacea plants and then some other echinacea. I think these are echinacea too. I planted the seeds and they took so long to come up. I thought that they weren't going to, so I went and I bought one and I transplanted these 2 from the other part of the garden. So these 2 are from last year. This one's new. And then I have a grape vine growing here. Also got this as a bare root. And it just looks like a stick when you get it. It's no leaves or anything on it. And I thought it was dead. And then it seemed like almost overnight, it got leaves and stuff. And it's starting to grow. You can see where it wants to start vining. The goal is for it to, I'm going to try to train it to grow up over this arbor here. And before we go in, we'll come here. This is another okra plant. And then these 4 here are, I want to say they are borage. And I know borage has like some medicinal purposes. I'm not sure what yet. I planted them because they were purple. And next to some lavender, which I just pulled like a whole lot of flowers off of this the other day. I made some bath products for our main bathroom, some bath salts, and I wanted to put the fresh herbs in it. So, and this is a fig tree that I got last year, and it really was nothing but a stick for that whole year, and it survived the winter though, and this year it actually has leaves on it. So, and these can take a while, like 5 years to grow. So, and then on the end here, these are sunflowers as well. It's 4 of them. And these are supposed to be like mammoth, like really, really, really big, like bigger than your head sunflowers. And I'm going to support them on this stake here. And then we have peach tree that I purchased last year. And actually, this is the smaller of the 2. It's grown quite a bit since spring. But it has a couple of peaches on it. Let's see. There's one there. I think it's another. Here it is. Over here. There's a peach there. I don't know if I should have pulled those off so that more energy could go into the roots, because we transplanted this at the end of last year. It wasn't doing well in the first spot that we put it in, so we transplanted it over here and just built this bed around it earlier this year. It's still winter. This is more borage growing because they don't look so great right now because it's hot and everything's drying out. But like after rain, these are beautiful. These are like purple and lavender pansies. So since I already had purple growing in this bed, I also put some borage because those are purple as well. Purple is my favorite color in case you can't tell yet. And this is the largest bed that we grew out here. And these are just different flowers and stuff to attract bees. And these actually are not grasses, they're chives. These little pom-poms were really purple when spring first came, and it was so pretty, and they taste good too. These plants here have lost their leaves, their flowers, but it looks like new ones are trying to come up. But they were this color. They look just like that. And I had several of those in here. And then I forget what these are. I want to say they're daylilies. They had yellow flowers earlier this spring, but they have nothing now. And some cilantro that's trying to bolt on me. 2 more okras. And these are supposed to be like an orangish red variety. So I'm curious to see how those are going to look. I planted them here because coming up the driveway, I just thought this would be nice when you're coming in to see those okra plants with the colorful okras on them. So, and then here is parsley and basil. This is really convenient coming out the back door to just have to come here and not have to go all the way over into there to get some herbs. So I just planted these here. Trying to do like a lot of edible landscaping. So I'm trying to think. I guess we'll start here in the peach. I call it the peach garden, just because it has this larger peach tree in it. We also planted this one last year, and it's doing really well. It's really big. No peaches on it though. It didn't have any blossoms this year. I don't know why. So I did a lot of container gardening this year and raised beds. Right here is more. These are beets that I planted from seed. It was still winter. So they haven't really formed anything yet, but they're growing decent leaves. And here we have some carrots, also started from seed. And these are like, I forget what they're called. I'll put the name in, but they're going to be purple. They're going to be purple. Both of these are 2 different varieties, but both varieties produce purple carrots. And then can't tell because it's mixed amongst the weeds, but this is a dwarf cherry. It's a bush. I want to say it's more of a bush than it is a tree. It's not going to be very large, and I think it's going to be like a tart cherry. And there's another one over here amongst the weeds right there. I'm gonna have to put some mulch around them just so they don't get mowed over when Brandon comes in here to mow the grass. And then these are all different varieties of red, yellow, and white. Different varieties of potatoes. Seem to be doing well this year. We tried potatoes last year in the hay using the roost out method. Didn't work out well at all. So the plants are big, so I'm assuming that means there are some potatoes growing down this side of the tree. Amongst these weeds, it really needs to be mowed in here. It's kind of scary. I have onions that are doing really well. Some of them I got from Walmart. These red ones here. I actually got from Walmart. And they're doing pretty well. Like, they're actually bulbing. I don't know how big they're going to get. They were red onions. They were only $3. So I just grabbed them and threw them in. And then bulbing here. This is a candy sweet onion. So it's a white onion, but it's supposed to be really, really sweet. And I'm really going to pull this up. I had purple bok choy growing in here, butter crunch lettuce, and on the end was some sort of like Asian spinach. But the bok choy and the spinach both bolted. I'm surprised this lettuce is still going, but I'll probably pull it up soon too. So, have plenty of ripe strawberries in here. Probably get in here later today and pick some of those out. And then this tall plant is actually bee balm. And it should get some flowers around July. And on this side was the herb garden last year, and there's still plenty in here. oregano and thyme. Oregano, thyme, sage, rosemary. This is mint here. And there's a blueberry. This is blueberry. Lemon balm. Lemon balm. This is pineapple sage. It's from last year. This one didn't survive the winter, but this one didn't. It came back. So it's actually really pretty late summer. It gets like these red flowers on it. So I guess we'll come around this way. This is a cane for next year. And another here. Also has some pretty big berries coming in. And then two black raspberry bushes, which I didn't think were going to put off any fruit this year, but it's actually surprisingly, there's some coming in. I was surprised to see those. This has thorns on it, so you have to be careful. And then let's go to the first bed, which is, looking so sad. I don't think this is going to last very long because peas like cooler weather, but we have peas on here. The kind you're supposed to shell. Supposed to open these up and take the peas out. Have a couple of them in here, but I don't think they're going to be hanging around much longer, so I need to come on and these aren't fully ripe, but I think I need to go ahead and get these peas off of here, put them out of their misery. Let me come around here real quick. These are the other Japanese sweet potatoes. It's just a temporary setup because they're going to want a vine. So we just laid this cattle panel out along the hoop house so they have something to climb over. Have something different next year. I just don't know what yet. And this is actually my biggest blackberry bush or vine plant. Quite a bit of blackberries this year. This one's pretty tall. Okay. That's gonna come to, this is our most recent construction. This is a cattle panel on 2 T-posts in each raised bed. And so on this side, we have bush beans. So they're string beans, but this is the bush variety. So they don't need any support. And then on the inside, growing on both beds, there. And on the back side is bush beans. But on the inside, the rows on the inside, these are supposed to climb. These are pole beans, and they're going to climb up, hopefully all the way up, and be nice and pretty for me over this arch here. And hopefully give us a lot of string beans this year. More blackberries. I hope these are good. They're supposed to be pretty large too. I hope they're good. Okay, let's go in to this part. Check for spider webs above my head. So we added this raised bed in this year. Last year we had a bed here, but I was pretty much planting directly in the soil. So planted in here right now is Malabar spinach, which from what I understand, it's a slow starter, but once the heat really comes, it's supposed to take off, and this should climb this arch and completely cover that. So that's what I'm hoping for. And then in this bed, we did another one here. We planted more, I think these are peas. Yeah, these are peas. And I don't actually see any on here at all, not one. There were flowers. I don't know, I think it's just gotten too hot, and so they're done. So I'll probably pull this up and plant something else. If it hasn't put any peas off yet, I don't think it will. Then here is the arch from last year where I had a grapevine that did not survive. Those Japanese beetles got it last year. So right now I just have cucumbers planted on both sides inside of these containers. And hopefully those will then climb up over the top. And these need some water. But this is zucchini, 2 zucchinis and 2 crookneck squashes. And then on this side, these are regular, I believe they're Covington sweet potatoes. And I think I'm going to take that last, we have one more cattle panel. And I think I'm going to put some landscape fabric here and bring those last 4 buckets into this bed, and then use that arch, make it here so that the Covington sweet potatoes and the Japanese sweet potatoes can both climb over the top and keep their leaves out of the walkway and separate from the weeds. The weeds, this is where we had all of the hay and straw last year, and it just left a mess of weeds. Oh my goodness. I would never do that again. And I did plant some corn in here. Some of it's coming up, not all of it. It looks like there's some weeds in here I need to pull out as well. But there is corn in there. And then in here, my container garden is where I have my peppers growing and different varieties of tomatoes. It's going to be a sweet red pepper, giant Marconi, and then these are the candy cane peppers. Oh yeah, you can see already it's like a little bit of a stripe on there. So we'll see. Oh, we have some, I didn't know I had any tomatoes growing at all. Okay, so these are regular tomatoes. I'm not sure what kind. I think Brandon got a lot of beefsteaks this year. He wanted like large tomatoes. So it's only a few. I didn't label anything, but it's only a few Romas in here. The rest of them are supposed to be like, I think it's maybe a Better Boy in here, a purple variety, and then the rest are like beefsteak, and then a few cherry and grape tomato plants, which are always prolific. I think these are probably a grape tomato because they're kind of getting a little round. I think these are cherry. Okay, and these 2 are Roma. So I only got 2 Romas this year. And I think these 2 are cherry. That's a grape. And then the rest are probably beefsteaks. And that's it. That's the whole garden. We've expanded this year. And yeah. All right, so I hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll show you more later.